I want to show you the some of the things I made for the Mason engine. These are the rings. This is the original ring with a step gap, as you can see. And these are the new rings. I didn't yet split it yet, but you can see the thickness difference of the original as compared to the new ring. Now the originally had this ring inside of this ring. Of course, the gaps are 180 degrees apart, and they slid together like that. Well, the inner ring is fine. There's really no wear on it because it doesn't rub against the cylinder walls. It's the outer ring that got worn. You can see the difference in thickness. So I made new outer rings. I had to only make 4, but even though I made 7 for spares, I have to split it, and then this will slip inside this one. I have to also notch it for the pin. I didn't do that yet, but I won't do that until I split it. One of the other things I made was to remove the, when you remove the head to get the top of the piston out of the cylinder. Here's the top of the piston, and of course the rings go like that, and then there's another ring, and then the bottom of the piston. To get the top of the piston out, you have to take this, of course the connecting rod goes up through the hole and it's peened over, and they use a special tool. So what I did was, to get this off, I took an old socket that I had and I ground it to put points on it. So now I can unscrew it very easily and it comes out. Now the thing that's interesting was the top of the piston is actually threaded. Ideally, you should be able to just lift this off out of the cylinder, but I had a hard time getting it out. I was able to get one out, one I couldn't get out. So I made up this jig. And this is basically a piece of brass threaded rod that screws in, and this top of the head is actually threaded right there. And it screws in to the top of the head, the top of the piston. And you could hold it with a pair of vice grips. And then I took a rod, threaded bolt actually, and tapped the inside. So what will happen is when I want to remove the top of the piston, that's in the engine like that, I screw this down and it comes through the piston and pushes the rod down, and it actually will lift this up out of the engine. So as you screw it down, you're actually pushing the rod down and you're pulling the top of the piston out. And as you can see, there it is coming through. So that will make extracting the other side more easily than what I had a hard time getting it out. So I made this little jig up to make life easy. That does it as far as, now this is for the Mason engine. The Mason engine happens to have this setup. I'm not sure. I had an earlier Mason engine. I had an 1899. I don't remember. I did make rings for it, but I don't remember how the piston was held in place. That's been quite a few years ago. But this one here, I couldn't get it out. So the simplest solution was to make this little adapter piece. And this will stay in the box to go with the car. So whenever I have to do anything, I can easily remove the piston top. I have all the extra rings, and I'll be filing those soon and waiting for the splitter so I could split the rings, as I said before, with a tailpipe expander. I'm going to file them, expand it, let them crack, and then I will take the next step as far as heat treating them so the gaps stay open. You'll be seeing that next.